Welcome to the captain's table. It's a different day today, matey. My good friend Dale is taking the day off, so I decided to have a casual conversation with my friends. I'm sitting here checking out my doubloons, a little bit of reals, saying hello to my friends, a little bit of reals. We don't have duplicate sounds here. The link's in the chat if you'd like to come up and chit-chat with the old skipper. I think what I'll do here is I spent a few nights putting together part of my coin collection for the State of Israel. And I think I'm going to start putting it together. You love me outfit. Well, that's good. Hello, Hunter Bouchard. And EAC, of course, as always. So I picked up some of these sheets. Got 5 mils, 1927 British Mandate Palestine. I'm going to put that into me. Little sheet, if it'll fit. Hopefully it will. If not, I'll just trim it down with a pair of scissors. So yeah, my partner Dale, he's a little bit under the weather today, I guess. Decided not to do his live feed. I said, well, I'm up anyway, so I might as well spend some time with my friends. Hello, Rebecca. It's good to see you, lassie. I got a 5 mil from 1934 British Mandate Palestine. All right. I love putting these things together. This is a bronze coin from the State of Israel first year, 1949. What they call 5 pruta. A little hard to see with the flip. Quite shiny. (1949) was quite a violent year in the State of Israel. Was such an exodus. Of course, they made a movie out of it, but it was referred to as the exodus of the Jews from Europe into British Mandate Palestine. The population flipped, and British Mandate Palestine became a sanctuary, and eventually the formation of the State of Israel. It was the Zionist movement that actually got the whole thing started. There we go, 1949, another 10 pruta from the State of Israel. I decided with these ones, instead of trying to put them by denomination, I put them by year. It makes it a lot easier on me to sort them in my sheets. Christopher Ty, welcome aboard. Here's an interesting one. Let there be a 250 pruta from the first year, the formation of the state of Israel. So you get a good one. Of course, I do like the designs on these. Of course you're lurking. You're on the bus, EAC. I know what you're doing. Okay, in 1952, Israel went to aluminum for their coin. There's a 10 pruta in aluminum. Notice the scalloped edges on that one. Quite a bit different. Okay, 1954, they went to a nickel clad. This here is the 100 pruta from Israel. Madwick Barbecue, welcome aboard, my friend. It's 1963, they had what's called 10 agarot. This one here had a little difficulty trying to decipher the year on it. But these were actually produced between 63 and 79. And that's your half lira with the menorah. One of these days I'll figure out, maybe get someone that can speak modern Hebrew and can read that for me instead of me trying to guess. When I try to identify these coins, I use Numista, and I check and compare the writing. Alrighty, Taffy Coins is in the house, and he's going to be coming up too. It's a 1966 1 lira coin. Again, I think they refer to that as their state seal with the menorah. It's got the wheat, the stalks of wheat on each side. Besides the Arab-Israeli conflict in 49, they went through several wars, including the Yom Kippur 67 war, and they proved their mettle, believe me, during those, and they held on to their territory. It was during this period they started developing what was called the open bridges policy, because they wanted to try to maintain peace with their Arab neighbors. And since the Temple Mount was occupied by the Dome of the Rock, which is one of the major Muslim mosques and holy places, they didn't want to cause an all-out war with all the Arab world. So they made it so that any Muslim could cross the Israeli border as long as they weren't carrying weapons. They were there to either visit friends and family or their religious sites. However, it didn't go the same way with the Jewish population. They essentially became prisoners in their own country, and they couldn't go to any of the surrounding countries back then. So the borders were pretty well guarded. They actually used to have the old World War II half tracks, and they used to run the half tracks around the edge, the entire border of the country. And Israel's not that big, and they would spread the sand out so smooth that you could see footprints in it, very fine dirt, and they could tell if anybody had tried to cross the border. And they had, of course, fenced barbed wire all the way around the entire country, and you could not cross any of those areas. The other thing they used to do is they used to dig ditches, so only the half tracks you get through. So, and I made that mistake when I was there. Hi, Living History Mysteries. There's my good friend. Always nice to have you in the house. They would dig these trenches so that wheeled vehicles couldn't drive down the roads, but the half tracks could. And occasionally, some people, myself included, when I got lost one day, I had a full United Nations van full of soldiers. I was heading back to camp, and I made a wrong turn. And I headed down one of these roads, and as I'm driving, and it's dark, suddenly there's a ditch that was right in front of me, and I couldn't avoid it. And I nailed it, literally bent the rim on the, I was in a little Volkswagen van, and I bounced. Surprised none of us got hurt. The van hurt a bit because we ended up on the wrong side of the ditch as I bounced across this ditch. And the half track came along out of nowhere. And of course, most of the Israelis, they could speak fairly good English. We explained to them what was happening, showed them our UN ID cards and that we'd gotten lost. And they brought the planks out, and I got to drive back over the ditch using the planks. But their borders extremely well defended. They also have the IDF also had periodic tent cities that they set across the entire perimeter of the country, whereby they didn't have that far to go, as it was a mandatory service for the Israelis to serve. These camps were always manned. Now, this is during 1982, so it was well after a lot of the major conflicts that happened. Except in '82, they decided to take care of the Palestinians that were in Lebanon, and they enacted what they called Operation Galilee. And Operation Galilee, the Israelis in force, en masse, drove up through the Golan, through the Valley Tiers, up past the Metula Gate, and through into Lebanon. And that is such is history. But 1970, they come out with another aluminum one called an Agora. This is one Agora from 1970. Again, it's got the scalloped edges, and it has the traditional wheat stalks there on the other side. Yeah, Israel is a fascinating country because it's extremely small, but it has varying weather and climatic conditions and conditions in the countryside. You can go from a temperate zone to a tropic zone to a desert, all within a couple hours anyway. Silver Tanny's in the house. I'm just filling the gap there, Tanny, because Dale was feeling under the weather, so I decided why waste the time and decided to go live here. We got someone popping up from the basement. Decided to a lot. Welcome aboard, matey.
Shemai.
Okay, this is a 25 agarot from Israel from 1973. As you can see, it's an interesting looking coin. If I can get rid of all the shadow there. I love the fact that the Israelis kept a lot of the traditional look of the ancient shekels that they used to have.
The Israeli coins are pretty basic, but they are nice to look at.
They really are.
If anyone's wondering why am I wearing this tent, it's because it's blinking cold.
Depends on what you think is cold there.
6 degrees or something like that.
Ha!
I know you're in Canada and it's like minus 40.
I'd be out in shorts and t-shirt. Silver Caddy says, "Brother Sticky." Yeah, they really like going for this similar themes. You find that the State of Israel emblem on so many of their coins. I mean, you can see it with the menorah. I think you get it there. That one's got a small one. And another interesting fact: the modern Hebrew. As you know, we write from left to right. They write from right to left, so just the opposite of us. But you could virtually take their language, the spoken language, and it's much like it's not like French. It's more like in German. You can almost take verbatim what we say and transpose it to German. Same with Hebrew. It's an easy language to speak, but writing is quite a challenge. I want a falafel and Coke. Mana ahat falafel và Coca-Cola. Please, bevekisha. See, it's just put it in. So it may be a lot easier for me to barter and whatnot, being able to learn the language because it just tied right in. I just replaced English words. Not perfect, but they understood what I was talking about. They could tell I was a foreigner.
But they probably appreciated you as well.
Oh, I got better deals.
I can imagine.
When you can speak the language, it makes a big difference. Okay, there's a 1978 one Lirot, and the beauty of this, you can see the traditions, of course, the Lion of Judah. If you can see that one there.
I got your pay forward stuff as well. Thank you.
Oh, you got it. Good to hear.
Yeah, it's like the Royal Mail had a data breach with International Post. So International Post is held up at the moment, only slightly apparently.
There's a 10 agarot from 79. And again, the palm tree is not a coconut palm, it's a date palm. And it was really, really neat. You could, if you found the odd location, you can go and eat dates right off the tree. They're quite yummy. I got hooked on them. That's why I love date squares. I also learned how to enjoy a lot of the Middle East cuisine, things like hummus, and how to properly make falafel. When I come back to Canada, I did not like the way they made falafel here because they anglicized it and put stuff in it that wasn't in traditional falafel. Falafel was the Big Mac of the Middle East. Basically, if you've never had falafel, it's a chickpea formed into balls that are almost like meatballs, and they're nicely spiced. And what they would do is they would hollow it. I call it the Big Mac in the Middle East. They'd hollow out the pita shell, not roll it. They would hollow it out so it had a pita pocket. And they would cook their falafel balls first in the oil. And of course, atypical is usually olive oil that they're using. Hold on. Just, what is that you're saying? Oh, okay. Well, hopefully you do hear Tanny. Anyway, the oil absorbed the flavor of the falafel. Then you would cut up, and something that I absolutely disliked until I had it cooked this way, eggplant. And you cut up the eggplant and you fry it in the same oil as the falafel, so it absorbs. It's almost like a mushroom. They absorb the flavors in the oil. Potato, sliced potato, you put in there. You fry that up as well. You pack it with ice cold.
Aubergine.
What's that?
Sorry to interrupt. It's a good job that I know what you mean when you say eggplant. There's in over here is it called aubergine?
Yeah. It's you can translate for me. And then, of course, once you do that, you pack that into the shell. Then you put nice, clean, cold iceberg lettuce, tomato. Then you put in a little bit of tahina, which is sesame seed puree, and your hummus inside that as well, and some salsa. And depending on how you like it, hot, medium, mild, you put that in. And I'll tell you, it was so good. And Tanny, I absolutely hated eggplant. My mother was a chef de cuisine. She was determined when I was a kid to find ways of making eggplant that was palatable. She never succeeded. It was absolutely disgusting stuff. It wasn't until I was in the Middle East when I learned how they prepared it that I discovered that, hey, this isn't bad. I mean, it's the same as those that eat that stinky fish, the fermented herring. Absolutely most disgusting stuff on the planet. Yet the Swedes and whatnot, they eat that stuff for Christmas as a treat. Well, once you learn how to make certain foods and you're not stupid about it, it tastes really good. I mean, the fermented herring, I'm sure you've all seen the Stinky Fish Challenge where they open the cans inside the house and it's got a bloated can and sprays fish juice everywhere and stinks to high heaven. Yes, it's a texture too. But you know what? When it's fried, it's not bad, Tanny. What you're supposed to do with this fish is you're supposed to go outside about 10 meters away from your house in a bucket of cold water and put the can in the water and open it up that way so the water absorbs all that horrible spray that comes out. You open up the can, you take a few select slices of this disgusting stuff out of the can and put it on a plate, walk it to an outside table, never prepare it inside the house. So this stuff should never be eaten in Canada because you'd be having fish sickles. So then when you get there, you have to scrape the skin, the flesh away from the skin and all the bones, including the spine, because in these challenges, they try to eat the fish just as it is. No. You can't do that. That's wrong. They have a flatbread that they love, and they lay out the flatbread. And in Sweden, especially, they love their yogurt. And what they do is they take that fish and they mix it in with the yogurt, and they put it on this flatbread along with diced onion, and they make it into a roll, and they roll this flatbread up, and that's how they eat it. Oh yeah, they put potato in it too. Forgot about the potato. You got to put potato in it. And that's how they eat this. I can't pronounce the name right. It's called surströmming or something along that line.
I think.
Yeah, it's but if it's done properly, it's palatable. It's just salty, disgusting stuff to me.
Even the Swedes, like lots of the Swedes, don't really like it.
I don't blame them. Okay, now we're getting closer to the coinage that I had when I was in Israel. That's the 1 shekel coin. And it's got some very interesting designs on the back of it. Not quite sure what it is. It looks like a crown of some sort. A little story there. I took 350 US dollars. Now you can keep the US dollars as is, and they'll take it, but you pay tourist rates when you go shopping. If you the Camp Orley room, they had a little bank set up, and you can exchange your American money to Israeli, and you would go downtown and you could go shopping with this stuff. But what I discovered is if you do the exchange rate at the camp was one thing, but if you went down to, say, Tiberias into the Bank Leumi and you cashed it in, you got like 10 times as many shekels. So I went down there with $350, and no word of a lie, at that time they looked at me and they says, "Would you like a guard?" Because I was bloody rich. I got like 3,500 shekels for this 350 US dollars. I was rich as far as they were concerned. And then, of course, learning some Hebrew, I would shop on the economy instead of being a tourist. I could have, well, I rented myself a villa on the Mediterranean. It cost me $5, the equivalent of $5 American a night. And the balcony overlooked the Mediterranean. I had palm trees leaning over, and it came with a stock fridge. So you well imagine it was a different world. My goodness. Not to mention it was really nice. Except for when they're fighting, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, got that in there. Now what do we got? Oh, I got that's a 1980. Oh, that's a. See, it's interesting. They're almost the same size. This is a 1980 as well, but that's the 5 lirot. So it's a little bit different. You know what? If I was Jewish, I would have moved there in a heartbeat. I fell in love with. There's a little place that was outside Tiberias called Kiryat. Was called Kiryat Shimona. No, it wasn't. Was it Kiryat Shimona? No, it was Rosh Pina. Rosh Pina was a small town and had all the modern conveniences, as in electricity and plumbing and whatnot. But it was like you stepped back 2,000 years with the cobblestone roads and quaint little houses tucked away with beautiful palm trees. You had some of the places had grapefruit trees outside their house. They were so sweet they tasted like oranges. Lemons, bananas, all of it was down there. Like I was mentioning, it's a country where it's very small, but it's got all these different zones. So if you go into the Golan Heights, they're growing tomatoes and corn and wheat, and then you get down to Tiberias, and you got all the beautiful citrus plants and whatnot that are growing down there. You get down to the Dead Sea, and yeah, you get dust and nomads and all that stuff. It's just like the country was so diverse. Oh, here's one from the time I was there. This is the new Agaron. It's 10 Agaron. You can look at the difference in the size. It's made in bronze, very small, and it's almost impossible to even. It's so small. Reminds me of our fish scales that we used to have. Very, very, very tiny. I don't remember seeing those ones. Probably because it was too small a denomination. And all these coins here are with the thanks to Ran So Far Away, who heard my story about me serving over there and never collecting any of the coins, and he sent me a huge package as a gift. And now I've actually got the Israeli coins that I should have collected while I was there. This 10 shekelim from 1982. That was during the time I was there. And I remember this coin. This one I've used. All right, better pay attention. Unlocked is in the house. Welcome aboard.
So there's loads of trees that I've got. It's just like just trying to find silver for them. I was like, I struggle to find like cheap New Zealand silver. As like Australian coins I like.
I
well.
like. Do you have any Australian? I have not been able to collect any Australian.
I've got a whole box. But it's like most of them are, well, actually, it's like, well, trying to find like the good Australian coins is a bit difficult over here. So
Right.
It's like Stephen has the Australian typeset album, which I've been trying to buy for ages, but like the Dansko one, but it's so blinking expensive. It's literally it's like a $120, $130 US just first album, and for the second album it's like $250 US.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, for like the one with the modern coinage,
Right.
So it's like, and I want to start just getting the typeset albums. It was like I'm gonna have to start doing what Jason who has been doing, and just buy the ones with the 2x2 albums and then just put together my own one and just like get pictures of the typeset albums from other people and then just do that, assemble the collection, and then if I acquire the album, then I can just transfer them over as and when.
Right.
So I'm considering that I'm in the UK, just trying to find. Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't look like massively hard. But like normally, like random like world silver, you'll find here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, like I'm going through my Italian collection now. Most of it is like from the Second World War. I've got, I think it's only 2 Italian silver coins. Yeah, I'm going to need like the 1800 stuff. I've got like plenty of the bronze and stuff. But like of my Italian coins, I think it's the Columbus coin.
Oh yeah. Hold on, let me make you large there. There you go.
I think it's the Columbus coin. And it's got, I don't know who she is on the back. But I think like these are quite cheap. You can pick them up for about £10 each. And then I just had this random basic one then, which just says 50 centimes.
Right.
I keep forgetting who that is. It looks like Napoleon, but it's not Napoleon. Victorio Emmanuel II, whoever Victorio Emmanuel II is. But like by far my three biggest countries is obviously UK, US and Canadian. And actually France as well. So it's like when I buy like mixes of world coins, they always seem to be like filled with quite a lot of French rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, John J.
Unlock says I got an
on some of
Australian
the messages
coin.
now.
Yeah, I don't come to think of it. Do I have any Australian coins? Now you got me thinking. Hold on.
Australian coins are quite popular since they started doing lots of the different designs in the $1 coins and stuff.
I absolutely
And
I love the Australian coins. Some of the ones, especially the ones with the honeycomb. I think they're beautiful. You know what?
did I
have
send you
one.
another
I have
honeycomb
one
one?
$2 coin. That's it. Just one.
Well, that's my Australian.
Whoa. Okay, that's quite a bit more than I do. So I can honestly say I do have an Australian, but only one of them.
Do you mean the honeycomb coin?
Oh, you've got one.
I thought I sent you one.
Did you?
I can't remember. I thought I sent you one before. I'd put one in a grab bag.
Believe me, if I'd gotten that one, I'd know because that's my favorite Australian coin.
That's a bit.
Yeah, isn't that that? Oh, I gotta put that large. That is so nice. Look at that! Isn't that is beautiful? Absolutely outstanding, that one.
It is a beautiful coin. The Australian silver is not too bad either. I did have a set come through the other day. There's a coin company called Westminster Collections.
Yes, I've heard of them. Yeah,
and they've got a wildlife set.
I have that one. I think were you the one that sent me that one? You must be.
I possibly sent you with like a spare page, but like this is like page 8 now of different animals. So this one's the butterflies. So it's got the red admiral, small tortoiseshell, a common blue, purple emperor, swallowtail, and a peacock butterfly.
Wow.
Here's a quiz question for you. Are there more varieties of butterfly or moth?
Oh boy. You know what? This is a shot in the dark. No idea, but I would say butterfly.
Moth.
Wow.
It's like in the UK that we have something like, I can't remember if it's like about not even 20 species of butterfly or something like that. It's a lower number. And like compared to something like, I think it's like a couple of 100 species of moth alone in the UK.
Well, at least the folks in chat got it right.
Yeah, there's like there's some like massive moths out there. I keep forgetting. Like in the UK, we have some bigger ones, but like if you go to like some of the rainforests, I think like they get like the biggest ones there. And...
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I get that. I don't know why I put that away. Now I get to put that sheet into my album. Which, again, oh man, I got to get myself some elastic bands. Do you have problems with that where your albums pop open? The rings don't stay?
With the Whitman ones, the cardboard ones, I've used elastics on them because some of the coins are so worn around the edges, they don't stay in the folders.
Oh, okay. No, this is.
But then the elastic
this is this kind of album, and the rings constantly. When I open up the album, the rings pop open and all the pages fall out. Drives me nuts.
Is that a specific coin album, or is that just a general album?
Yeah, actually, this was bought as a coin album from the coin shop. I can understand why you only sold it to me for $7 now because it won't stay closed. But but it's a big one, and this is my world collection. And I said, I was using a small album for my paper money, one of these little things, and I didn't like it. There weren't enough pages, so I picked up some of the larger pages, and I actually got them still in alphabetical order by country, and I put them in with my coins. So, if I want to look at it, for instance, Israel, well, all the Israeli coins are in one spot, including the paper money.
Yeah.
But I don't do that with. No, actually, I do that with. I haven't done that with the British. I don't have a lot of paper money for British, but the U.S.
I might have to try and nab a Canadian $250 album as well, because I've got so many commemorative. I need to stop shoving them in an album.
Well, why don't you have you talked to Darren, Dimebag Darren?
You mentioned that you had one, but I want to try and get a full set like you've got.
Yeah, what he does is he every time he gets a commemorative, he fills up the pages, and he actually sells the full albums completed. Okay. And he's extremely fair with the price as well.
I'll have to try and get in touch with him. Like the majority of the commemorative ones I've had have been actually from you. I've picked up like the odd one here and there.
That unlocked. That's one way of doing it. I don't know if I'd have a pretty small silver album. I find most of the world coins are they're non-precious metals, but
yeah,
even what, I've even started putting my paper money from Canada into my world album, because I figure, well, Canada's part of the world too, so I got my paper money put in there, some of the older stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing that I need to get hold of, is like more older banknotes, because like the majority of the banknotes that I have are modern as well. It's like I think I only have like 3 or 4 Canadian notes. Like with the American banknotes, I've got like the standard ones, like the red seals, the blue seals, and the silver certificates and stuff. I have a gold, one. I don't know how much like some of the gold notes would actually cost as well.
The other thing I did with my world album, I got, it's called the Principal List of Countries in the World, and I printed that off the internet. This is what it looks like here. And the beauty of this is they're all in alphabetical order with a little checkbox next to it.
Yeah.
So as I'm going collecting coins, I can see what countries I'm missing and what ones I have. And frankly, I don't have as many as I should have.
Yeah.
I got a long ways to go. Most of them are oddballs, but there's, for instance, like Iran. Okay, I guess you can get them somewhere. Kuwait, Kiribati, North Korea. Oh, North Korea! I got North Korea now.
With Iranian coins, I think it's illegal to own them after I think it's 1973, because it's a closed currency. It's like I think Tunisia is the same, but I've had Tunisian coins in the past.
Unlock. I like Numista. I've started it, but I originally started building my own spreadsheets years ago, and I don't feel like I'm just redoing something I've already done. The only thing I like about Numista is it helps me identify a lot of the coins that I have difficult. That and the Coinoscope helps slow down or speed up trying to identify. Yeah, if you guys have not seen Living History Mysteries, that's with Drew. Man, does he ever have a? If you love history, which most of us collectors do, that is an awesome, awesome channel. Oh, we got. I hope someone can answer my question. I have a 2022 Sally Ride S Woman's Quarter that was graded MS65 proof-like by NGC. It's the only one with that grade, and I have it. Does anyone know what it would be worth?
Basically, it depends upon if there's any higher grades. Because we're talking to like some of the American guys like Steve and Spencer, with lots of the quarters, is like if it's an MS66, then it's not worth too much more. It's more like the MS67s and above. They're the ones that bring in some of the money.
Yeah, I just got to remember in the States, they go right up to MS70.
Yeah.
And whereas we don't go to MS70 in Canada. Also, I would recommend if if it's that rare, I wouldn't be looking at things like eBay or whatever. I check right to Heritage because it's what coins like that. It depends, and I know Taffy will agree with me on this one. It's whatever a person's willing to pay for them. I mean, I look at the coins that Heritage sells, and I'm in absolute shock. Like, what are these multimillionaires must be collecting these bloody coins? Because I would never pay the price that they're asking for some of them. Heck, I'm having trouble just paying out a couple $1,000s for a coin. That's wow.
With and like with grading as well, it's always subjective. So
yes, it is.
You might have like an MS64, which looks like it's been dragged through the dirt. But then you might have like an MS61, which looks really like almost like not like pristine, but have like a nice look and eye appeal around to it. But an MS64 coin might be covered in like black oxidization.
Yeah.
Just because it's been exposed to the elements for too long.
Mm-hmm. What you're saying about being subjective, though, is really, really true. When I take a coin in to get an assessment done on it, when I say assessment, that's anybody that's not a professional grader. I'll sit down with guys in the Numismatic Society, and I have an Excel spreadsheet with me. And what I do is I go online, I do comparisons, and I give an estimate of what I think it might be assessed at. Then I go into the club and I'll sit down with 10 or 15 others that are dealers and longtime collectors and see if I come close. I also as a person that's wanting, of course, as a collector, I want the highest grade possible. We tend to overgrade.
Sorry to interrupt. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I think the tap is running. It's just started.
Okay, go for it. Yeah. We tend to overgrade as collectors because, frankly, we all want our coins to be worth more than what they are. And so when you take them in, and you get a bunch of guys that are, dealers and longtime collectors. They'll sit down, they'll look at what you think the grade is, and then they will say, yes, you're a little too high or a little too low, but you get an idea of the approximation. And if it's a high enough estimate of a grade, then that's when you decide on, well, is it worthwhile to send it into an upper tier grading company? And that's when you send it in, you can have them graded and slabbed. I'm glad that I always, when I do my grading, the assessments I do, I look at it, I say, well, that looks like, an MS60 or, an AU of one number or another. And I will back it down one notch so that because again, we tend to overgrade. And so I'll knock it down one notch. Again, go through the process of some other people assessing your coin. And then if it's worth it, send it in for grading. It just cuts down on the guesswork a little bit, and keeps you from spending money where you shouldn't have spent the money to get it graded and slabbed. I know. Unlocked. You always tend to overgrade your coins. That's just something that we do.
Well, we're on the subject of grading.
Whoa, Nelly! You want to see a bit of exonumia that's pretty? Check this baby out.
Oh, I got my note folder as well. I was like, I'm trying to see if I can find it. Like, I've got full, not like full boxes, but 4 boxes.
Right.
Of like graded stuff. So there's some that I haven't got in the boxes because I don't have PCGS boxes.
Right.
So I've got. Right, this is a 1999S, Proof 69 Deep Cameo, and that's a nickel. So, like, when people see coins and slabs, they think, "Oh, that must be worth something." It's a proof, but then it's like, with any proofs, for something like that, you'd spend about, I think it's about $30, $40 just for that coin to be graded.
Exactly. Is it worth it?
And because with the American coinage, with lots of the proofs and stuff, because they sell so many, these coins typically aren't even worth grading. Just like leave them in the sets, because the sets compared to the UK coins are cheap enough. It's like on the back of that it says like $18. I think it's more something like about $5 or $6. Like you can pick up a graded coin like that because sometimes so many people grade them and they bulk grade them just in the off chance that they might get a 70. But even then with a 70, you're talking about like coins which are not worth much.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the gems in my collection which you sent me, which is the reverse proof.
Yeah, that's a beauty, eh?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. But someone would have paid about $40 as well for that to be graded. I think
That's
it's
right.
worth something. I think it's worth something like about $30 in a proof 70.
Yeah.
So like it just depends. It's like with anything, it's like really there's so much to grading itself, and like some people with grading, it's sort of like love hate for lots of different people.
Mm-hmm.
So some people love it; they'll grade everything and they gram if they can, just because they love grading. But then other things are not worth it. Like I bought these, I graded these ones myself. This is the only set in existence of a first release label.
Oh, that's pretty.
It's South Georgia and the Sandwich Islands. Basically, it's the coins produced by Pobjoy. So I've got the only first release label set because I paid the extra just for the label. But then, like to buy them just normally on the market, I think you can probably pick them up ungraded for like about £20 or £30 now. And when they released, they were about £50 each. But I bought them because I love penguins. But it just like if you want to grade a coin because you value it in your collection, then grade it. Like some people say, no, don't bother. Like just ignore them, just grade it if you really want to.
Right.
But then you got which aren't really worth it. It's like I paid, I think £25 for that to be graded. It's just a Cuprinol nickel coloured coin from the Royal Mint. I just thought I'd grade it because I really like the design, and it goes with the silver proof. It's like it graded a 67, which is I think one of the lowest grades of these coins which has been released. So it hasn't really added any value onto it. But I was lucky with my silver proof, it got a 70. So like the silver proof with that grade might be worth about 80, £90, if not a bit more, because these were one of the lowest mintage ones in these Christmas coins that are released. It's only 7,500.
Right. Well, that's pretty low.
Yeah, but then you've got the other two then which they released, which they made 15,000 of. But like everyone flocked and bought these because they were the first two, and like lots of people then were just reselling them because they were such a popular design. The snowman coins are always really popular, but
Mhm.
now they like you can buy them ungraded for like about £35 each, even though release price was £65 for them. That's one of my favourites as well on my graded coins.
Gee, that's one of my favorites.
As well. I think I paid about £70 for this. So these, but I bought it graded. So I paid the extra
Right.
because I wanted it. It's like the first coin that I ever graded. I'm kind of gutted that I sold it, but then again, I'm not because I made a nice profit off it. It was an 1887 half crown from the UK, and I bought it for. I think I paid something like about £30 for it, if not a bit less. I paid the grading fees of like £25, £30 on top. So in total, I had something like about £50 or £60 in the coin itself. But then the coin was worth, according to NGC, to be $120, which at the time was about £100. So I made a nice little profit from it. I think that's it's either one of the first ones or the second one that I graded as well. It's an Australian kangaroo.
Oh yeah.
And the kangaroos are gold plated. And I come all the way from Australia because my wife's friend was over in Australia and she was doing a tour of the Perth Mint. And she asked me if I wanted anything when I was over there. So I threw her like $180 Australian, and then showed her what I wanted and just said if they're there, then just pick it up. If not, then pick something nice up out of the rest. But luckily, she managed to pick up what I wanted. Like that, this one's a tough cookie. It's the Elton John.
Oh, I remember that one. That's a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's a tough cookie to try and get in a 70 grade.
It's very, very cool the way they took that musical note, made it look like his glasses.
Yeah, he actually had glasses like that.
Yeah,
as well. It's like David Bowie's one of my favorite ones, with the relief on there.
Mm-hmm.
But like even the music series, they've started making them again. They had a bit of a break. They did Queen, then Elton John, then Bowie, and now they've done Rolling Stones. They've done The Who as well. But the series started off popular because like who doesn't want to own a coin with Queen on?
Yeah.
It's like one of the biggest selling bands of all time. And it's like Elton John, an absolutely phenomenal singer. And then Bowie as well. There's like three of like my favorite like older artists, and then with the Who and stuff, I haven't really listened to the Who. They've just released one recently with the Rolling Stones, and the Rolling Stones coin looks awful. I don't know many people are actually bothered to buy it as well. It's like they could have. The thing is, the Perth Mint did Rolling Stones coins, and they had the like the tongue being stuck out of the mouth, which is the Rolling Stones sort of like emblem.
Right.
So the Royal Mint can't really copy that then, can they? Which is always a bit of a difficult one. Right, that's one of my. So I had this given to me in a grab bag swap. I think Stephen actually.
Welcome
done this
aboard.
one. So this is a 65, and the V75 privy mark. Is
That's
like
that was reverse proof again, too, eh?
No, that's a normal circulated coin.
Is it really?
Yeah, if that was just like an ordinary one without the privy mark, then it wouldn't be really worth grading. Because with a 65 raid, it's like you can pick up 65 and a 65 coins and you change if you're lucky enough. It's harder to get the 66s and the 67s, even with like a 66. If you go coin roll hunting and then you get a brand new box of coins and you manage to pull them out, then the chances are a majority of them coins are all going to be 66s. And then you're going to struggle and going to really focus and learn the grading system then to try and find the 67s. It's like that's another one of my favorites. I'm not sure if this is one of the only ones, or these were the first release label as well. And that's a 7 Adra cameo. That's for the anniversary of the First World War. Oh, sorry, Second World War.
Silver Knight Kyle's in the house.
Hi, Silver Knight Kyle. Are you feeling well enough to join us? So, Scott, like I said, it just depends. Like with the Rolling Stones coin, it's like if you really, really want to buy it, then buy it. If that's what you collect, I don't like the look of it. If people don't like the look of it, then it might be worth buying then, because I agree coins don't sell well. And if you've bought it, then
that's so true. That's so true.
Is that a silver proof set or a proof set?
This one here, it's got silver in it, but it is a proof set. Yeah, they did a nice job on these ones.
See, if I had them sets, the proof sets, I don't go for the quarters and nothing else. If it was me,
yeah.
Like, but the problem is
these are all the this is the women.
Yeah,
the famous women, and Jason actually sent me a set that was circulation, and then I ended up getting the one that's the proof.
Yeah, Jason sent a package over to me, but then it got returned.
It got returned?
Yeah, so he sent it again now. So it's in the International Distribution Center in Chicago.
Yeah, I love the way they explained who it is that they have featured on these coins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still working on my British set. Where is it? I'll show you what I started off with. This was my British coin album. A tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And I've only got a few of them left in there. Slowly but surely getting into the big album, and I'll be able to give this to my grandson, let him play with it.
Yeah. Well, if you need anything at all, I can hook you up anyway.
Oh, well, what? There's a 50p coin that I was looking for that was from Kew Gardens that kind of looked cool.
You've already tried that one. I've only got one left. I sent it off for grading, but because I didn't send it off for conservation, it needs to get all red leans off it.
Oh, geez.
So it says on the ticket, not encapsulated because of residue. So if I send it off again, I'll probably try and send it off again. But it's it's definitely one to grade, like as a future one. Yeah, but Kyle, if you're feeling like well enough, even if you just pop up, if we have some trivia in a little bit, it's always good to have you up here with us.
That is very true. Yeah, I have got to get another envelope out to you. I got the coin sitting here waiting to go.
Well, for me.
Yeah, I managed to find at least one of the memorial toonies to get to you.
Awesome. It's like this is one of the ones I was gutted at as well. I graded them two together, and the Morgan, which I find is okay, I got the 70, and the Peace Dollar got a 69, and the Peace Dollar, I'm not a fan of the Peace Dollar design at all, of the older ones. I just think it looks quite basic. And
yeah, I prefer the Morgan dollars over the piece myself.
But with the ones that they re-released, the Peace Dollar is my favorite over the Morgan because it's got more of the high relief on the Peace Dollar, so the hair looks much better.
And look who is
yes, I was at Kew Gardens.
Hey, Kyle.
Oh, sorry, stolen.
Kyle in the cap. How about that?
Yeah. Just going through my graded ones.
Yeah, I don't like the Peace Dollar either. EAC.
Like I said, the new Peace Dollars that they released, I think with it having the high relief, it looks far better. But now this is my old box.
What's the matter, puppy dog?
Well, I've only got 10 more coins to identify. I'll do that later on today and get that into the Israeli sheets. And then I'm going to start working on getting some of these packages out. I'll go out Monday. Oh, good question. Scott S. says, it has... Oh, wait a minute. He says, is anyone familiar with the limited edition commemorative note from Elite Coinage? It says it's in a premium acrylic display holder. NASA's Artemis 1 return to the moon note. says as UV invisible image on an entire face of note of an astronaut's hand touching all of us, symbolizing how their extraordinary achievements inspired us to reach new heights. No, I'm not familiar with this at all. Look, it sounds fascinating, though.
Yeah.
And of course, EAC stating the obvious. You're looking a bit on the rough side, but you apparently are surviving. What's the weather like? What's the weather like down your end there, Kyle?
It's a little bit rainy, chilly, not cold, but chilly and rainy. So, yeah. I gotta ask, what specific uniform is that you're wearing?
No specific. It's period.
Just a period piece. I know you mentioned you had some specific captain's clothes or things like that. So
I've got tons of little costumes floating around. I recognize that. Hold on, I gotta tease myself. Yeah.
That's unfortunately graded a 68. This is not the 2009. This is the 2019. Where I did 50 years of the 50 pence.
Oh, okay.
Sugar.
and down they go. Domino fall, buddy. Domino fall.
That's fine.
He's as bad as me. I got the dropsies half the time myself.
I got the Pepsi today.
You got the what?
I got the Pepsis. The only thing I can drop is the puppy. Come here. Come here, puppies. Be on TV again.
His big bed over there. He's no lapdog. I get crushed.
Yeah. She's a big old pit bull on puppy sitting that needs all the attention and gets confused because like there's other people talking and she can't see them. Where are those people?
That's the one. That's the one that you'll probably like the most.
Okay, wait a minute.
Okay, get that.
Oh, that one's in nice shape. Wow.
That's the Scout in 50 pence.
What do you know what the 2 stars symbolize?
No clue.
The original 10 points of the Scout Law.
Was it?
Yep.
That's one of my favorites though as well. But I'm gutted only graded a 68. That's the V75 Privy Mark Eagle.
I don't have a single ASE. They're all gone.
Oh.
I miss my ASE. Of course, I take a look at Silver Gold Bulls selling them. They're more expensive than the Maple Leafs. So why would I want to do that?
Yep. But the problem is like it's we're not in a buyer's market at the minute because everything's so expensive.
Yeah, no, I can't. That's why I'm doing so much volunteering. Cross my fingers and hope they're as generous to me as the last time I worked for the Mint. Because I love, as a volunteer, they give you silver as a bonus. Says, okay, you guys want to give this retiree 5 ounces of silver for working 10 hours? I'll do it.
There you go. That's one thing I need to eventually get on is I need to have a graded piece in my collection of some sort. So
yeah, I've got a few of them, not very many. I mean, most of my coins are in albums. And the thing is, I like unless it's a display piece like my military stuff, it goes in albums where I can pull them out and I can look at them when I feel like it.
yeah.
When the slabs, the bad part about that, they end up in trays and tucked away in a vault somewhere. I don't, I can't pull them out conveniently and check them out.
I just want to
Yeah.
display things. I wish I could figure out a way to display my Moscow silvers from 80, but I haven't yet to find a way to display those where they don't fall out.
Yeah,
And then
what I did is I went down to IKEA, picked up 3 of their cases. They have different ones there, and of course they're not that expensive. And then ordered online the acrylic stands for the coins and took them out of the clamshells and put them in on the acrylic stands.
Mm.
And then instead of just being coins, as I've shown you before, I anchor them to items that are related to the coins themselves, whether they be model tanks and jeeps and plates and statuettes, anything to do with trying to enhance the look of the display.
That's another nice one for you.
Okay, what are you showing off here now? What is that?
That's pretty.
That's got an interesting look to it. What's on the other side? Okay. It's definitely got a European look to it.
It's British.
Okay. Is that King George the second?
Yes.
Not bad.
It's a old sixpence from 1787.
Sing a song, a sixpence pocket full of rye. If Kyle shows me any more, I'm gonna die.
It was a reasonable price. It was £75.
That's a beautiful little sixpence there.
So it's like that's
You
that's
have a
one
great spot.
Vice Goddess. It's like that's the one of the. It's not the exact one, obviously, because it's not in in a case, but that's the same design as the first coin I ever graded.
Like silver with Queen Vicky.
So I couldn't talk you out of trading that sixpence, could I, Kyle?
Pardon?
What?
I couldn't talk you out of trading that sixpence to me, could I?
It's the only one I have, unfortunately. It's like because like they're not like massively cheap.
Yeah.
Some of the older stuff. It's like this one. I think I was lucky. I think I paid. I don't know if I paid about £10 or £20 for this one. And that's 1834. So that's 1820. That's a half crown as well.
That's just beautiful.
Is this pitted? I can't remember. Yeah, it's got some dings in it.
I would imagine, yeah. I mean, if they're that old, of course they're going to be pitted a little bit. So.
So it's like, if it was in better condition, slightly better condition without the dings and stuff, it'd be worth about 90 to 100, but it's not worth like that much. That's one of the other Victoria half crown types. They didn't make them with that design for many years.
Is that
still
one
with the Jubilee?
Is that a heat and mint one there?
I don't think so anyway. It's like, because I know like they changed them at some point, and they did the odd year, but I don't think it was a heat and mint one. Like this one's like the old type Victoria half crown, and the crown has like the same design. It's just larger. And then
he paid a $5 for a okay condition 1816 shilling, and then got an 1821 crown for 20. His LCS does great deals for him on old coins. Well, that's you develop a good rapport with your LCS, you can get some pretty good deals.
Yeah, it's like especially if they're in bad condition as well. Like really worn. There's like the 1821 crown. I keep forgetting if that's just I think the 1821 is the standard design. I think it's the 1820 which is the alternate design. The 1820 is just like stunning. And in 20 actually might be is it 1817? I can't remember. But they did a sovereign in 2017 with the 18 I think it's the 1820 crown design on. And like trying to find one of those now is like it's extortionate because it's such a popular design because it's modeled like from like the 1817 sovereign, and it's like a very similar design to the crown as well. And like trying to find like the 2017 sovereigns like for and like the proof because they're all proof. Like you struggle to find one under £900, I think.
Wow.
And that's just a standard proof sovereign. Just for that year, just because it's because of the design, it's just so highly popular.
What's the oldest British?
Sorry, Darren's in the house for you, Kyle.
Who?
We're Darren.
Dimebag Darren.
Hey, Dimebag.
It's like
He's the one
in just like in British coinage. Like you can get that design, the rocking horse, they call it. Basically it's just an alternative sort of design for George and the Dragon, and you can pick, and you can just pick these ones up for like £15 each.
Yeah, I think I got that one.
And they put and then you got like the 37 design then, which is also about the same price.
It's so what's the oldest British coin you got, Kyle?
Oh, he wants to know what the oldest coin you have.
I did have, I've sold them now, but I did have a James I shilling, which was a coin, which was nice. But when I needed the funds, I just put grab bags together and sold them, and then just put them in, and give like really. And like Patrick will tell you, when I do a grab bag, I try and put as much value in there as possible, as well. For sure. But I don't like tend to like do them unless I really have to. That's another alternate half crown as well. And that's 1829.
So what year did that James I date to?
16 something.
Oh my goodness.
It's like 15 something actually, I think. Because I'm trying to think roughly because it was
James the reigned between 1603 and 1625.
Yeah, so it's like early 1600s because like trying to think of the line because after Elizabeth I, then it was James I. I can't remember if Queen Mary because they had Mary Queen of Scots there, but because like she was unpopular, basically they said her son James I and James become king.
Yeah.
Or they basically like kill her more or less, or find some way of getting rid of her, just to basically save her own life. Then she abdicated, and then had her son. But I think James I was something like about 6 months old when he became king. It was like ridiculously young. So he as like obviously he was well guarded, and as he grew older, he had his advisors and stuff. Then, so
James the First was a controversial king anyway. I mean, he's the one that initiated the King James version of the Bible. He's the one that was on the throne when Guy Fawkes decided to try to blow up Parliament. I mean, that was kind of a tumultuous period in Britain.
Yep. So it's definitely an eventful time, especially because, like, at that time, you had the whole, like, Protestants versus Catholics going on, and, like, once one monarch got on the throne, then they basically try and get rid of, like, the Catholics, and then the other ones, when they got on the throne, tried to get rid of the Protestants. It was, like, very tumultuous.
James the First was the one that got Parliament to start paying the monarchy, so they ended up getting an income, regular income to the crown, and he was also part of the when they had the 30 Years' War in Europe.
Yep.
I mean, wow. And of
That's
course,
really,
his son was
sixpence.
Charles the First. Charles the First was killed by Oliver Cromwell.
Yep.
You guys
So
had a very
it's
violent history, I'll tell you, especially with the royalty.
I don't deny that one bit. It's like there was just, like, so much that was just going on just during those times. But, like, to answer your question, actually, to come around to it, like, I did have a Elizabeth first shilling as well, now, which was older. I think it was like 1575. I think no, not in 6 months. Sorry, I think that was about 1575. So that was the oldest British coin, but I sold that one as well. But now this one by here is my oldest one that I have, and this is a William and Mary half crown.
Yeah. Unlock's asking, do you have routes? And he says 4P, the question.
Oh, Groat, yeah. I've got the Mondi ones. And I've got some of the like Victorians. Because, like, they made like they didn't really make many Groats other than in Mondi money, like, over time.
Oh, would I ever like that on Monday?
When they had hammered coins, they were more prominent because you'd have the old farthings. I don't know how it worked. I think you had a farthing, a halfpenny, which were like bronze, hammered, and then you had silver pennies. You had a half groat, which is a 2 pence coin, a groat, which is a 4 pence coin, 6 pence, obviously, which is 6 pence, shillings, half crowns, and crowns. Then I'm not sure if they had they might have had a 2 shilling piece. I can't remember offhand. Like, with some of the hammer coinage, it's just I don't have any of the old hammered coins anymore. I need to buy some more. But this is my oldest coin at the moment.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And that's 1689. Yeah, 1689. And if anyone wants to know how much these are expensive, basically, for like a worn down version of these, or an extremely worn down version, you're talking 50 to 100. It's like, in that condition, it's about £250.
Kyle, do you collect stamps as well?
Pardon?
You collect stamps too, don't you?
So you break it up. I don't know if it's my connection.
Do you collect stamps as well?
I don't really collect stamps. I have some stamps, but I just like the designs. I know nothing about stamps, other than if I stick it on an envelope, it might get somewhere, hopefully. Hey, Bo.
What 1625? Do it. What's do it?
I'm not too sure.
Ducat? Is that what he means? Is Ducat?
It could be
Ducat.
a ducat.
That's
Okay.
one of my favorite ones. That's a.
Show it
I'll show
again.
you again. It's a nice simple design.
Yeah.
And that's a higher grade. 1826 shilling.
Mm.
And you can pick them up for like about £10 as well. As like I think I paid about £10 for that. I think it might be worth like about 20 to 30 just in that condition. Nothing like fantastic that's gonna make me retire, but it's just something that I picked up, managed to get it cheaper than what it actually is worth. And then you got like the UK standard then. Hi, Jake's Coins. And then you got that, which is the UK standard.
Bo Select says, Taffy, you tried that new drink Dickens cider?
No. I haven't even heard of it. Or is this one of your jokes, Bo? Because I know what you're like.
Duets were from the Netherlands, John says. Was going to ask if he had soys. That's what I don't know what that is. Soys says. Soys.
SOVs is just an abbreviation for sovereign.
Oh, SOVs. Okay, got it.
Yeah. I've got like 2. Nothing like. Or have I got more? I can't remember. No, I think I've only got 2. It's like nothing to like shout and scream about. I've got I bought the 2022 one, which is only because the Queen croaked. Basically.
Silver Knight Kyle's back in the galley.
Yep. But then that's the album that I've got for my notes. Which one's this one? Right, this is my world one. So in my other album, then I've got Britain and Territories. But like, yeah, it's just American notes are the ones that I struggle with. It's like I've got a 5-cent note, like from the really old ones, like the cheap ones. I've got a Hawaii $1.
What an overprint?
Yeah, it's like that one. I'm trying to make sure that I don't catch the light.
Yeah, I got that one in with my picture of Pearl Harbor. I think the one note that I have that means the most to me, and that's it's just a historical significance, is during World War II, the Jews were issued these by the Nazis so they could purchase items that's actually referred to as ghetto money. That's 100 kronen.
I've used a ghetto money. But just like with American, I've got a 5-cent. I've got star notes, couple. I've got a silver certificate, Hawaii note. I've got a Virginia $1. I've got a couple of $2. I've got red seals, green seals. the silver certificates have got the blue seals, and the Hawaii note's got a red seal on it. I've got a blue seal and a red seal $5 note as well. But like I don't have any of the modern ones, the modern banknotes as well.
Jake says, "What are we having for dinner, Kyle?"
Chili. Had to make my wife's work.
Nice.
And I'm making myself some chili.
Oh, cool.
So, trying to stay
This is my
accurate.
fun. That's my amazing Canadian collection.
Looks familiar.
Like them too. And I bought 2 of them then. I managed to get hold of them. But like these $5 Canadian ones, they sell for about £8 to £9 over here.
Really?
Yeah, because they're uncirculated. So if you get a bundle of uncirculated ones, let me know and I can sell them for you. Over you. I've got Solomon Islands, $5. Sri Lankan 20 rupee. I can't even remember what the little one is. I know it's like some sort of like tiny territory.
Yeah, there's some pretty small countries out there. What, Tuvalu's pretty small.
Yeah.
It's sinking too.
Well, like, you'd think like with some of the small like countries or territories that their coinage would be worth loads because they'd have small mintages. Even though they've got small mintages, they're not worth much. So you might get like in some of the smaller countries, like Tuvalu or like Vanuatu and places like that. you might get like say like a 20-cent piece or something like that, whatever currency that they have. Like it might have a mintage of like 100,000, which by our modern standards is loads. Isn't that many. But then
It's all.
yeah, but when you get them, then they're not worth much because for that currency, that's a high mintage. Oh, I missed a couple of the territory ones. I've got Jersey notes, Guernsey from the UK territories. I've got a Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation note, which is quite large, for 10 Hong Kong dollars. Which I'll pull out of there, which I managed to get quite reasonable for £4.
I don't know if I told you the story of when my pastor came out of the over the house and sat down with me, and him knowing I'm a coin collector and whatnot, he says, "You know, the biggest problem we have today is that most people that have a Bible in the house, all they use it for is for saving money in." And he grabbed the hold of my copy of the Bible, and he says, "I bet you," looked at me, he says, "I bet you've got money in this thing." And I says, "Come on now." So he started to go through it, and sure enough, I got bloody money all through the bloody thing. Yeah, look.
You can still read it, but it's a good way of keeping your banknotes flat.
Yeah, I know. And besides that, this one's going to my oldest boy. I got instructions on the thing inside for after I pass that this is his.
Yeah. Yeah, unlocked. So like with the £1 notes, I have some of the Scottish ones in my other album. I've just separated the British and Scottish. I separated. I think I might have put the territories in there as well. And EAC said it would be interesting to know how many small countries have larger countries make their currency in coins. Well,
Most of them, I
it's
would.
like the UK. Yeah, because the UK is a good example because we used to like own so many countries back in the day, so we used to produce the currency. Like the Royal Mint is literally it's about a 40-minute drive from where I live. Every time I go on a tour there, it's been quite. The last few tours I've done, they must just be doing a mass mintage for Egypt because when I've been going to the Royal Mint doing the tours for the last 3 or 4 tours, they've always been producing Thailand and I think it's 5 baht coins. I think, and Egyptian pound coins.
Mm-hmm. Do you know the U.S. even minted some Canadian coins back a while? I think that they did a batch of dimes a number of years ago for us.
Mm. It's like at one point, all of the Canadian coins used to be made in the UK and then shipped over.
That's right. Again, at Heaton.
Yep. Like the same used to be when Australia was in its infancy, because when they sent all the convicts over and they discovered that there was gold there, they'd have the gold mined, shipped over to the UK. They'd have it melted down and made into sovereigns, and then shipped all the way back then to Australia to be used as coinage.
Mm-hmm.
And that, and until they decided, look, this is a bit crap. I'm not sure if they were losing too many ships at sea, shipping the gold there and back, that they finally decided, look, they made the coin presses and everything, had them shipped over then to Australia, so they could actually start minting the sovereigns there. But if you have a look on some of the old sovereigns, at the base where George and the Dragon is, if you're lucky, on some of your sovereigns, it'll either say M or P on there. M is the Melbourne Mint, P is the Perth Mint, and then you'd have some then with C on there for Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I like on some of the newer sovereigns, I'm not sure like with how far they go back, you can have on some of them as well with an I on for India. And some sovereigns, even I think even to this day, some sovereigns are minted in India because they got the I on them. And they are the rare ones these days, which are highly collectible as well. Yeah, unlocked. It's really lucky for me because with the Royal Mint just being in Llantress Centre, because it's like a short car journey for me, so I can just pop back and forth there, which my wife has learned to hate quite quickly because I with the mint your own coins, because you're allowed to mint up to about 2 coins per person. I drag my wife and daughter with me as well, just so I can get the extra. So like, oh. Well, I don't know how many people in the chat are aware of this as well. Gold money. Like that. The gold backs. So you've got like for these ones. I've got a Nevada and Utah Goldbacks.
I know a lot of the collectors are actually holding on to them as collectibles, but the whole purpose of the Goldbacks was supposed to be as a barter system that took you outside, and a lot of shops especially in the state of Utah, actually accept them instead of the U.S. currency. They'll take them. I had a big stack of the Goldbacks here, and I went in. I tried to use the barters. And remember that those guys that aren't familiar, this is recoverable gold. It's real gold. Okay. So I took them into my local coin shop. I said, look, I want to buy some items. Do you accept Goldbacks? He says, no. They looked at me and said, no, that's funny money. We don't accept that stuff here. I said, are you serious? We don't. So I actually had to pack up all my Goldbacks. I went on through Discord. I said, okay, I got X amount of Goldbacks here. I would like to trade them for an equivalent amount for silver, preferably American Silver Eagles. And I ended up getting 35 American Silver Eagles for the Goldback that I had. And they shipped them up here, and then I could use them to convert to currency. Whereas they would not.
The thing is with the premium on the Goldbacks is massive. It's far bigger than the Silver Eagles itself, because with the Goldbacks, if you want to buy them, it costs you about, I think it's about £4 to £5 to buy them each, like equivalent.
Is it that high now? $3.75.
It's
when I got them.
Yeah, it's like when I last checked, like with the exchange rate for me, it worked out to be about about £3 or £4 worth. But like, I know that there are dealers in the UK which sell them for about £4.50 to £5 each. So if I could get enough together to make it worth the shipping and get them over here, I could probably like make about £1, if not more, on each Goldback, because there are people on some of the sites and stuff on Facebook that actually buy them and collect them.
$14 for a $1 Goldback is not worth it, John.
Yeah, John Jacobs, don't bother.
That's way too high.
Yeah, it's like you can probably, like on the second-hand market, because they are popular, you probably get about $3 or $4, if not slightly more for them. But like in the UK, with the exchange rate and stuff, it tends to be like what it is in US. That's what it'll be about in GBP. But it's just crazy with the premiums. If you think like the $1 Goldback is meant to be used as $1, and you're paying, say you're paying $4 for a $1 note in essence, so that's 400%. Well, was it 400% like premium on that? With the Type 2 like Eagles at the moment, the premiums are coming down, but at one point it was almost it was about like $40 each just for a Type 2 Silver Eagle. So you're paying like 100% premium on top of that. Then it's like the Goldback premium then compared to that is massive. And everyone's wondering where gold and silver is going to be going this year as well.
Time will tell.
Yeah, it will. It's like already like within a couple of days into the year, it's like gold and silver has already seen a bit of a surge. Mm-hmm. So like silver went up to almost £20 an ounce, or quite close to 20 an ounce, which is fantastic because it means that I haven't lost as much because most of the silver I bought was at the high point of silver.
Yeah, and the
So
surprising part is you see the fluctuations in silver, but son of a gun, the outfits that are selling them, the prices are still outrageous. The premiums just ended up jacked up.
the problem is silver is maintaining its premiums at the minute because who the hell when you get any of the companies or the dealers, who the hell is going to want to make a loss? So they maintain their prices rather than drop them with the silver price, and that's what keeps the premiums going so high.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's bad enough with VAT in the UK. Whenever you buy a silver round, you pay VAT on top. So I buy a £25. I spend £25 for a Britannia. The VAT on top then added at 20% takes it up one silver round to £30 each.
Mm-hmm.
So silver prices might be at about like 17 or £18, like for like an ounce. But because Britannia's a premium product, you pay the extra on there, and then you're paying the VAT on top.
Mm-hmm.
So an £18 an ounce coin easily costs £30 to buy. So that's a hefty premium just to pay, just
Gosh.
on top.
Yeah.
So and that's what makes buying silver and gold unobtainable is just the ridiculously high premiums.
Guess we're gonna have to switch to comic books. I'm
Yep.
just I'm
Now
just
we're talking my language.
I've got a few paragraphs if you don't mind me sharing with you. I'm reading about comic book heroes go to war. American comic books fought both on the home front and on the battlefront, doing everything from shaping public opinion to socking the few square on the jaw, a sentiment no doubt shared by the troops who rapidly followed their adventures. In the late 1930s, American opinion over the turmoil in Europe was split. Many citizens believed in isolationism. Why should America solve a European problem? Others were horrified by Japan and Germany's sudden aggression. Popular culture mirrored this division, and comic books were no different. In 1938, an issue of Action Comics featured the colorful new hero, Superman, uncovering a plot by a dastardly senator bent on getting America involved in a European conflict. Fortunately, Superman was able to keep the United States out of trouble by forcing the sides to overcome their differences. Other citizens and artists had different visions, however. In a conscious effort to take a stand, Jack Kirby and Joe Simon transferred a weakling unfit for military service into a super soldier through a secret government experiment. Sound familiar? And Captain America headed off to Europe to personally confront Hitler a year before the United States entered the war.
Yep, 1 year solid.
Yep. The authors received threatening letters from their efforts. Kirby and Simon were far from alone in predicting the entry of the United States into the war. Levert Gleason Publications issued a Daredevil Battles Hitler comic in 1941, and a precedent November 1941 issue of National Comics depicted a fictional attack on Pearl Harbor. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, months before. So.
Yeah. The Sentinels of Liberty stand alone. After the actual attack on Pearl Harbor took place a month later, the isolationist viewpoint all but disappeared, and comic heroes went to war with a vengeance. Captain America in the Army. Wonder Woman became a nurse. In the pages of All-Star Squadron, the Justice Society suspended operations. All the heroes could join the military. In 1941, Superman himself had reversed his neutralist stance and battled domestic saboteurs or fifth columnists in every issue. Along with the traditional characters developing patriotic streaks, the war saw the rise of some inarguably pro-American characters. Startling Comics introduced Fighting Yank, whose powers came by the way of a Revolutionary War ancestor. National Comics feature a feature called Uncle Sam. Hitler served as the perfect foil for the costume crusaders. Here was a real-life figure bent on world domination, a character as evil as any writer could possibly imagine. Heroes such as Daredevil and Submariner battled the Nazis overseas, but others waged war at home. Since Superman could easily have ended the war with his powers, his creators contrived to keep him home by having Clark Kent fail his military physical. Now that I didn't know. Superman contented himself with battling enemy agents in the United States, at one point even testifying before Congress that American forces were easily powerful enough to triumph without his aid. You know what? This is very cool stuff. The Japs started their treacherous attack. Publishers began to realize that rather than mirroring common sentiments, their characters could help to shape wartime opinion, not to mention sell a lot of comic books. Superheroes began selling more bonds, organizing scrap metal drives, and offering lessons on how to be a proper American. Along with some positive messages, however, a fair amount of effort went into demonizing the enemy, usually in brutally graphic ways. Germans were depicted as cold, calculating, and ruthless, often sporting monocles or facial scars. Mussolini becomes a clown. The Japanese portrayed as buck-toothed men with a predilection of butchering prisoners in stories with titles like The Slant Eye of Satan, with a Green Hornet comic book. Very occasionally, comics admitted the possibility that enemy civilians might be decent people, albeit hopelessly mistreated by their leaders. But those portrayals were relatively uncommon. One more paragraph. Sunset of the Golden Age. World War II proved to be a goldmine for comic book publishers. The backdrop of the war and the identification of superheroes as icons of patriotism helped circulation double from 10 to 20 million issues a month from 1941 to 44, despite wartime paper shortages.
Yeah.
Estimated 44% of the armed forces read comics regularly. Men passed the books around until they fell apart. In 1943, military postage exchanges reported that comics outsold Reader's Digest, Life, and the Saturday Evening Post combined 10 to 1 margin.
Yeah.
Following the war, the heroes of the comic pages went on to further encourage the American way of life and fight the Red Scare in the Cold War. But in many ways, the World War II era marked their zenith, and fans today remember that time as the Golden Age.
Golden Age, yep. Yeah, and a lot of those are hard to come by because of the paper drives. Anything pre-August 1945, superhero is next to impossible to find any survivors previous to that. Had I not traded it away a few months ago, I'd have showed you the cover of Batman 15 from March of 1943 with Batman and Robin sitting behind a machine gun.
Wow. Yeah.
Stoic Batman, but yeah.
Sure would like to have that first Superman one.
High grade copy is about $5.2 million. The low grade copy is about $900,000.
Didn't Nicolas Cage lose his? He was stolen.
Yeah, it was stolen. He was recompensed by his insurance, so he didn't get it back, but it's back out on the market again. His was about a $2.5 million one, a little more mid grade.
Crumbs. I thought Spider-Man #1 was the most. Is that the most valuable one?
When they come up to auctions, Amazing Fantasy 15 from 1962, so it's not that old. But there's a high grade copy of it, and that made it a like 3 million plus. But no, there's 8 or 9 different individual comics in the $1 million club now. So, and a couple of them have gone into the 5 million range, 3 to 5 million range, given the condition of things. But one couple were cleaning up after this fella's parents, and tucked in the middle of the pages of a Life magazine was a 9.0 out of 10, a 9.0 Action Comics #1. No one even thought one would be that high. It was pressed flat. It had been sitting in the pages of this Life magazine for over 50 years. And the only thing wrong with it was the staples were mildly rusted. And that's a $5 million book now.
Wow.
Dog, if you have to go outside, you need to go out and go potty. And honestly, it's about a $10 million book by now. The one that I want so bad, they pulled it out of the files, is Marvel Comics 1 from 1939 with the first newsstand appearance of Submariner and the first appearance of the Human Torch. There's a pay copy, which actually has the editorial pay notes in it, where it says, you know, pay the cover artist Frank R. Paul, pay the cover artist this much, pay the file copy. And it's $1 million+ book. I think it goes around $2 million now. That's the one book that's on my, man, do I really want that book. But if I had $1 million to buy a comic book, I'd give $1 million to charity. I wouldn't buy a comic book. So
I got a lot of, well, I still have lots of comics floating around.
I have somewhere between 8,000 to 10,000 of them.
Well, my wife would definitely disown me if I had that much. She's angry with that. I got too many coins.
I have over 2,000 books. Huh?
You
What
can never have too many coins. Trying to
What?
say that you can
Voicing
too many
my-
coins is, yeah, it's blasphemous. Trying to say that you've got too many coins.
Yeah.
Why do you think I installed a lock on my door over here?
007.
Yeah, it's a diamonds are forever 1 ounce coin. Well, 1 ounce, a silver bar, sorry.
Oh, it's after 7 o'clock here. All right, I wanted to jump in for a little trivia and stuff, but I've done already lost my voice anyway. But it's after 7 o'clock, so I got stuff to do. So everybody got to watch me do my domestics, and I loved hanging out with you guys, but I got to tap out for a while again.
I enjoyed having you too, and actually I've got to be running myself because I've got to make dinner for my spouse. One of the joys of being retired.
There you go.
So Kyle, I might catch you. I don't know how late you're going to be up, but I feel like shellacking you with cribbage a little later if you feel like it.
I wish, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I got to take cough medicine later, and I'm going to be out cold loopy. So I'm dog sitting and trying to break this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with this stuff, but it's just brutalized my voice now.
Mm-hmm.
The better I feel, the worse my voice is.
You just get yourself better, Kyle. That's like,
yeah. I'm working on it. Because I'm supposed to not be doing lives, but from Saturday to Saturday, of course, I got a 24-hour charity thing coming up where I'm going to be in a lot of it. But in this 1 week time frame alone, I'm going to be on somewhere in the neighborhood of 24 to 36 hours.
Wow.
Of lives. And I have no voice. Yeah, I did a 7-hour live the other day. I have no voice. I can barely move, but I'm still foolhardy enough to do this. Dog, what are you doing? Are you? Oh, the dog caught something and it's throwing it up on the back porch. Oh, what fun! All right. Come on, puppy. What are you doing?
All right, Kyle. Thank you for sharing your collection with us too. And I'm glad Silver and I'm gonna wander off and take care of my spouse as well.
It's just after midnight here, so I'm probably not going to be wide awake.
No problem, my friend.
Unless you wanted to do it now quickly before you start making.
There you go. And you talked to him about cribbage, and I answered you because I can't get over the fact that we're both Kyles. I'm sitting here thinking, wait, I'll play at cribbage, but I can't because I'm sick. You're not even talking to me because there's another cool dude named Kyle right there. That handsome young lad. So Kyle, when you play him at cribbage, whoop that skipper booty for me.
And he
Oh, he
wants
absolutely.
revenge.
Oh, he absolutely was it. Was it last night or the night before? He did absolutely destroyed me. He skunked me twice.
Oh, good Lord.
He was that bad, literally. I went on one Wednesday.
Cards dealt.
When you get a 91, just it's just like my heart was broken. There was a tear in my eye and everything.
I will, and definitely. And of course, I see sneaking in here at the last minute. Snoopy Doo, my friend from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
Snoopy Doo.
He's got quite the collection himself. Looks like bank.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's like if ever you become part of like the Silver Picker squad and then you get involved in grab bags, Snoopy Doo is immense with his grab bags.
Yeah, he is. He is. Next time I'm down in Vegas, I want to get together with him.
Hey, Snoopy Doo.
Anyway, guys, gotta run. Thank you for coming into the live stream, and we will catch. Oh, tomorrow, Dale says he's going to be back. So if available tomorrow around 2 o'clock Mountain Standard. That's what, 9 o'clock back in Great Britain. 9, 10, 11. What is that? 7
9.
hours. 9.
Yeah.
9
If I don't see him tomorrow, please send that young man my love. Let him know.
Take care, everybody.
All right.
Everybody.
Take care.